from the Bronx, actually. Eddie Elisma out of LaSalle High School here in New York, another one of those homegrown products. And they need that active young guy to get even more active down low. Bobby Cremens has not been to the NCAA tournament since '93, and that was a shocking first-round loss to Southern University. Coming off an 18-12 year, they've beaten Manhattan and they've beaten Oklahoma. Georgetown has beaten Colgate and Temple. John Thompson is 24th year, an unbelievable graduation rate, and a lot of success on the floor. Jerome Williams, a senior who can really hit the boards, an All-Big East performer last year, and he is one of the leaders with Othella Harrington up front for this club.
John Thompson with 526 W's. A lot of wins in his career since taking over that program when it was really at the depths of despair. You talk about graduating players. Guys stay there 4 years. 72 of 74 have graduated.
Georgia Tech in gold. Georgetown in gray. Off the tap, Jerome Williams. He goes on the wing for Victor Page. Dick, the pace of this game should be fascinating.
Yeah, it really should be. And a lot will be dictated by who gets the early lead.
Iverson for Harrington. Point guard works it around. Penetration and the basket for Jerome Williams.
Jerome Williams is one of your unsung heroes. I like to talk about guys that don't get a lot of recognition, and he is a key part of this basketball team. He is not a third or fourth option.
That heartbreak for Stephon Marbury.
Georgetown with a tenacious defensive team this year because they possess that one quality, quickness.
That's Berry from Maddox. And Michael Maddox, the sophomore out of Atlanta, has the equalizer.
That's a big play right there. He has to give him some presence down at the low post. Last year, he was a drifter. He was a perimeter player, Maddox.
But on the turnover as he went racing down to the baseline. By the way, the hardest working guys tonight might be the ACC officiating crew. Ted Valentine, Bob Donato, Frank Scagliotta trying to keep up with this one tonight.
The one thing right there with Boubacar Al, the game plan for Georgia Tech is to play off him to try and give help on the inside. Oh, there's the turnover.
Marbury lost it. Iverson has it, and he scores over Berry.
I'll tell you, what explosiveness. I watched that step to the basket. He's got that great acceleration, Allen Iverson. Led at Bethel High School his junior year, led him to the state championship in football and basketball. Was a great rollout quarterback.
Hoyas by 2.
Oh, nice look.
That was Berry down to Maddox. Loose ball. Marbury had a shot, and he threw it into traffic.
Yeah, he tried to make the spectacular pass. The one thing that's impressed me about Stephon Marbury doing his first 2 games, he has played under control. There's the rotation defensively on Maddox. Williams comes rotating over. He is such a solid player, both defensively and as a rebounder.
There is Victor Page, the freshman out of McKinley Tech in D.C.
Averaged about 33 points a game when he played in high school 2 years ago. Was player of the year in Washington, D.C. He adds a special dimension to this team. He gives Iverson another guy that can finalize.
Marbury, and he dumps it over the baseline, but it was touched by Hoya on the way.
As Big John standing up on that sideline, I was teasing John. I said, Marbury told me he wanted to go to Georgetown. You didn't call him up. He said, why did he call me up?
Hey, you got to call up Georgetown to get in. They had almost 13,000 applicants for the class of '98 this year.
Oh, nice look by Barry. There he is breaking the defense down, and Maddox shows his inside-outside ability. Don't underestimate the passing ability of Barry.
Michael Maddox with 5. Drew Berry, over 500 assists in his career. That's Iverson handling the ball.
I think one of the real requisites against Georgetown, you must force them to play a 5-on-5 game. You cannot allow them to score off their defense into offense in terms of transition, or they'll blitz you like they did in their first 2 games. You have to be able to control the basketball and make them play 5 against 5.
Foul was on Eddie Elisma. Hartbring had a touch on the rebound, and it'll go back.
See, shot selection. That was an area that Iverson had to work on from last year. I thought that last year he should have pulled up and utilized the medium-range jumper as opposed to thinking so much of the 3-point long-range jumper.
2 minutes and 45 seconds in. Georgetown leads 6-5. Maddox has had a hot hand. They go to him again, and he almost almost went 3 for 3. Bella Harrington the rebound.
He's very active on the inside.
Here comes Victor Page. He is so fast. 2 Hoyas follow. Bumped out of there. Williams in the corner for Iverson. Rebound Marbury, and Page fouled him in the air.
Shooting the ball a little too quickly right now. Georgetown in their half-court game, they got to get a few feels on the inside to old fella Harrington, who had a big game in their first game. By the way, Harrington and also Iverson played together on the World University's games team, got to know each other even a little bit better, and it really helped both guys because last year, especially early, they were a little bit out of sync with each other.
Marbury played with Jahidi White of Georgetown at the World Junior Championships in Greece for under-19s. 5 Georgetown players involved in international play in the last year.
And that certainly is going to help your game, going to give you a little maturity.
Here's Berry kicking it for Maddox, and we had a foul in the paint. It appears to be on Jerome Williams. Santa Clara with a 1-point advantage in Maui over Michigan State at the half. They've been a big story in that tournament, knocking off UCLA earlier.
To show you what Iverson did this summer, he led the team in scoring, steals, and assists, and that included a team with Kerry Kittles, Ray Allen, and Tim Duncan.
Berry dishes, lots of traffic. Somehow Harpring caught it, couldn't make the shot, but he was fouled.
Harpring's one of the great stories in basketball. Was not heavily recruited, was not a blue-chip superstar coming out of high school, yet he stepped into the Georgia Tech lineup last year and became such a solid player. And this year he's even elevated his game more. He's put on some weight. He's a lot stronger. Marbury
had 16 points and 5 assists when Georgia Tech beat Manhattan. That was their first-round game in the NIT. A 20-point verdict, and Matt Harpring really came up big with a double-double. And then at home, they defeated the Sooners despite 26 points and 11 rebounds by Ryan Miner.
Hey, I'll tell you, they beat a good Oklahoma team and a very good Manhattan basketball team. And I really believe that this Georgia Tech team, no matter what happens here today, is going to be a better basketball team than last year. They seem to enjoy playing with each other a lot more. Even though they lost 40 points between Best and Forest, I believe they'll be a better team. Here goes to a half-court trap.
Georgia Tech by 1. That's Orinji losing it. Here's Harpring on the transition.
Van Harpring off the pass for Marbury, but created by the steal. Bobby Clemens does a little dance on the sideline. Marbury's an excellent defensive player, especially on the basketball.
Georgia Tech on a 7-0 run to take a 9-6 lead. Here's Page with the left-hander. Elisma over the top. They're going to call Michael Maddox over the top, trying to crash the glass.
I like Frank Scagliotta. He says, yes, you. And he says it with authority and with conviction.
Michael Maddox with a foul. Georgia Tech hanging with the pace of the Hoyas so far. We are off to the races at the Garden.
Time to wash up.
Isn't it just like Delta to design a stylish faucet that's practical, too?
Give me that.
So it's long enough to reach today's double and even triple sinks. Delta, the way water is brought to life.
Need a towel?
Burger King announces a truly magical opening. Disney's Toy Story, the exciting new animated adventure now in theaters that brings toys to life. And now at Burger King, get your kids one of 4 Toy Story puppets for just $1.99 each when you buy any value meal. They're great to get and to give. $1.99 Toy Story puppets. Collect all 4. You'll give your kids a little taste of magic. Only at Burger King.
This is Janie Sanchez. This is the actual phone number called by Janie Sanchez. The number for Fannie Mae, the nation's largest source of funds for mortgage lenders. These are the actual free guides Fannie Mae sent to Janie Sanchez. Step-by-step information on how to choose a mortgage and buy a home of your own. This is the actual home that Janie and her husband purchased.
Hi, honey.
And that's her actual husband. Be like Janie. Call Fannie Mae.
Georgia Tech goes on a 7-0 run to take the lead. John Thompson's team beat Colgate, and a big night for Victor Page. They forced 28 turnovers in that game, 14 more against Temple. as they had the big rebounding margin, and Iverson came through with the double-double.
Well, you know, people are going to jump on John Chaney's team a little bit early because the fact he loses Brunson, who handled the ball exclusively. But let them get a little timing. They'll play together, and you'll see John Chaney's team get better and better as the season progresses.
That's Joseph Tuomu, who just checked in, a freshman out of Williamston, North Carolina, and he knocks down the three right off the bench.
He's from Cameroon. There is Tuomu.
Great shooting, something Georgetown has not had much of in recent years.
He gives him some quickness. He gets a little bump right there on Stephon Marbury, who tries to attack the defense by beating Tuomo.
Joseph Tuomo did not play his senior year in high school because of a knee problem. Playing at the highest level now with Georgetown. There's Iverson watching as Marbury.
Georgetown comes out of the man-to-man, goes to a 2-3 zone. Should have some wing jump shots there. You swing the ball.
Marbury quick.
Oh, what a nice look.
Harper. And Leesma clawing away at it. Damon Jackson came up with a loose ball for Georgetown.
Marbury with the great eyes did an excellent job defensively to stop the ball from running up the floor. And that's the one thing you want to do in defensive transition, stop the basketball.
Godwin Owinji on the left wing for Jerome Williams. Left baseline. Running out of room is Damon Jackson. Managed to get the whistle.
Jackson, a slasher, quick player. They got some diaper dandies that are going to step in and help right away when you talk Page, Jackson, and Tuomo.
Big Jahidi White, 6'9", 270 out of Cardinal Ritter in St. Louis, a sophomore.
John Thompson told me on the phone, he said, you know, I really treated him. It was a sweetheart season last year for Jahidi. This year, he's going to see the real tiger in me as I come at him. We need his presence inside to go to that next level, to be way up on top with the big guys.
Yeah, but he put it on the floor and coughed it up. He played only 8 minutes a game last year.
Came out of a great high school program. In fact, his high school program, Lauren Woods, a 7'1" player, signed with Wake Forest, and Chris Carrawell, a 6'6", from the same high school in St. Louis. Cardinal Ritter signed as well with Duke.
Age for Iverson, who checks back in, matched up with Marbury.
See, Marbury, a good defensive player. They're going to set a screen to try and get Iverson free.
Releases it for Owinji. That was Jahidi White with a touch, but he couldn't corral it.
Owinji had the wide open jump at the elbow. Had a little two-man play. There's a look at Jahidi, big, strong player.
There's the score from our first game tonight. Arizona's in the championship game. Great catch by Hartbrink. Owinji tried to stay with him, and Godwin will get his first foul.
Hartbrink showed some of his football abilities. He was a star at Marist High School on a football field as well.
Well, how about his dad? Played middle linebacker for Bo at Michigan. His Uncle Jack played at Navy. His granddad played at Navy. A couple of brothers playing Division I football. He should know how to catch those long passes.
There's the big catch. There's the hands. And now he tries to seal off the defense and draws the contact. Got a brother playing at Northwestern.
Yeah, that is Brian, and John plays at Akron for Jerry Faust.
No, Jerry Faust's not there anymore.
Oh, used to be.
Yeah, I guess he recruited him.
Yeah.
He's Hartbrink with that good touch. I really like the Georgia Tech team much better than last year because they get more ball movement.
Hey, Dick, I got to ask you, with Harrington coming in, where has he been offensively? They haven't thrown in the ball.
Yeah, he's got to get some touches inside. They got to take advantage of his offensive ability and get him involved, especially if Georgia Tech stops the running game.
Page straight ahead. Jahidi White. There he is.
They need that out of him. Jahidi White has got good post presence inside, and they got to get him involved offensively as well.
He did not score a point against Temple. Marbury, little bounce pass for Maddox. Got the foul, couldn't knock it down.
Marbury really making some good looks. They haven't been able to convert, but he's also got to be able to look and think a little bit about a shot. Look at Barry got hurt. Barry hurt his ankle. Barry's hopping off the court. This can be big. They can't afford to lose Drew Barry. His leadership ability, his talent as well, his experience.
This is his team, says Bobby Cremens, and his top assistant, Kevin Cantwell, who also hails from New York City. Painful expression on the face of Drew Barry, the senior. His teammate at the other end, Michael Maddox, at the line. Georgia Tech only plays about 7 guys. Juan Gaston, a freshman out of Decatur, Georgia, has checked in.
He's really been impressive in the first 2 games. He was a tremendous football player. Ran a 4.40. In fact, George O'Leary told me I'd love to have him on a football team at Georgia Tech. Because you take a look, they're working on that ankle.
Already had it taped. Maddox fails to hit either. Gaston had the rebound. There's no foul, but because of his hustle, Georgia Tech will get it back.
And with Barry on the sideline now with that injury, it puts even more pressure now on the diaper dandy Marbury to really have to step up and have a solid game. Doesn't have somebody to bail him out.
Georgetown's Iverson tough on the inbounds play. Drew Barry's expression looks rather serious.
What a basketball family, brother, playing now with the Clippers. Brent and John playing with the Golden State Warriors, and Scooter playing overseas.
Page intercepts, still going along.
Oh, yes, what great hop. He's got the tremendous hop. He's like McKinley Mountain. He played at McKinley Tech. He gets way, way up on that mountaintop.
Hoyas, as they always do, turn defense into offense and lead by 3. We are 6.5 minutes in.
Look at Iverson. He was the player of the year, as you said, defensively in the Big East last year. Not a bad title for a kid that was a freshman.
That is unbelievable in a league like that.
And didn't play basketball the year before.
Maddox up high. Pulls by Jahidi White, who swats away at him. Then he outlets over the head of Iverson. In the backcourt, Marbury will intercept.
You know, Iverson really has been exonerated from all those problems. It's finally been all clean. He's got a clean record. As we all know, that was documented. He went to prison there for a time after his junior year.
Bobby Cremins takes a 20. Lecturing his team, he thinks they look a little disorganized right now. Hey, how about a couple of guys who've been together all week, though? They're organized. Saunders and Raftery out in Maui. The championship game is following tonight. The Tar Heels are looking good. And Kerry Kittles and Villanova waiting. They are number 3 in the latest AP poll. Villanova and Kerry Kittles against the Tar Heels later tonight.
Wow, that's a high ranking number 3. I don't know if they really rate that high of a ranking. You know, number 3 in America, wow, that's saying something. But the bottom line is, if they're that good, they should be able to beat a North Carolina who's got a lot of new players, especially this early in the season, as Barry is lacing them up. You know, Iverson really making the most of a great opportunity that he has received at Georgetown.
Page with the deflection, but it went right back to Gary Saunders, who checked in for Georgia Tech. He's their 7th man.
He's from out of New York City as well. He's a slasher.
Out of Brother Rice High School.
Hey, he went to Rice High School, played with Felipe Lopez at Rice, the St. John's phenom.
So he's used to being in the background, with Marbury getting all the attention at the moment. Lots of fouls in this game. 17 fouls now against the Hoyas. So the Yellow Jackets go into the bonus, and Barry is going back for treatment, or worse.
There's Page right there. Looks like he catches an elbow. They get him for contact.
Gary Saunders, a bit of a jumper from the line. He couldn't get it to go. Here comes Iverson.
Look at that speed from one end of the floor to the other. Oh, great move. He just goes the length of the court, coast to coast, explodes to the basket. His quickness is reminiscent to me back in 1976, a guard from Chicago playing for Michigan by the name of Ricky Green.
Rebound Harrington.
Right now, you got to get Harrington involved a little bit. He rebounds there. Now you got to give him a touch. As a little guard, you got to say, I got to take care of the big fella. I got to keep him happy.
There's a steal. Marbury takes it away.
Marbury strips him.
They don't have numbers. 2 on 3, but he did draw the foul. He had Harrington and Boubacar Aou chasing it.
Marbury has scoring ability, and he's going to have to step up and think a little bit more of score right now with Barry out of the lineup. Oh, Barry's getting ready to come in.
How about that? From the locker room to the court in record time. He comes limping back in. Drew Barry not on the board yet, but he's on the court, and that's what's important for Bobby Cremins.
He was second in the ACC in terms of guards as a rebounder. He's a complete player.
Marbury at the line, following in a great tradition of Georgia Tech point guards. Travis Best most recently, Kenny Anderson before that, all the way back to Mark Price.
Point guard university, I guess you can label the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech.
PGU. Tech, after missing 5 free throws in a row, finally Marbury gets one to drop.
See Tuomo now handling the basketball, frees Iverson to be like a second guard. He's one of those combo guards. They got him now to where he doesn't have the pressure of handling the basketball and bringing it up the court.
Boy, Barry is limping all over the place, really favoring that ankle. Baseline underneath, Jerome Williams.
No one rotates over. He's one of my favorite players. He doesn't get a lot of ink, doesn't get a lot of PR. See, Barrett is slow getting to the basketball, really favoring that ankle.
If I'm Tech, I got to have Barry throwing it in, not trying to catch it. Hoyas by 6, almost 8.5 in.
Once upon a time, 3 girls went to Rock Steady for a pickup game.
Oh, we got next.
Lisa is the center of U.S. women's basketball team. Cheryl's a forward. Dawn is a point guard.
Shoot that, Cheryl. Take the jump, Elise. We'll take that. Good game. Good game. Next. Yeah, Cheryl. That's the next one. I got you. He can't shoot either.
And this isn't a fairy tale, so they didn't beat every guy, but they beat enough to say, basketball is basketball, athletes are athletes.
This is Jack. He's learning about airplanes on a PC with an Intel Pentium processor inside. The Pentium processor has the power to make software look, sound, and feel more real, which lets Jack's imagination really take off. The Intel Pentium processor.
Hi, Alex.
Oh, nice cold.
Oh, the pressure. Even my sinuses hurt.
Comes with the territory. You know, when you have a cold, it isn't always just up here. Sinuses can get congested, too. Well, that's why there's Advil Cold and Sinus. Doctors like its ingredients. One for aches, fever, sore throat pain. Another for sinus congestion. It's all connected.
Advil Cold and Sinus. Advanced formula for colds and sinus.
The pace we expected. Georgetown up by 6, almost 8.5 minutes in. Bob Carpenter with Dick Vitale at the Garden. And how about the matchup of guards so far, Dick?
Well, you know, one of the things you have to do immediately against Georgetown is you got to stop the basketball from going from one end of the floor to the other. Iverson had made a goal a little bit earlier where he went through a wave of defenders and nobody stopped the basketball. Georgetown scrapping into a 2-2-1 press. Through the diagonal pass right over the trap.
That was Berry for Harper. And he goes down and steps on the baseline. The Hoyas will have it back. 5 turnovers now. That's 47 turnovers in 2+ games forced by the Georgetown defense.
Well, Georgetown defensively is going to create havoc on a lot of clubs this year. This club really has great potential defensively.
Hard work by Juan Gaston there, but Iverson got it back. Jahidi White. And Georgetown lucky to get it back momentarily.
And there's my guy, Jerome Williams. I mean, he's hustling. He wants to sell popcorn. He wants to do it all. He's got that Washington look with the high socks. Jerome, a real Windex man, a glass eater. There he is. Look at this hustle. Look at that leap. I mean, he's ready for the long jump. He says, bring on Michael Powell. Bring on Powell.
He had the Georgia Tech managers just about dying down there at the end of the bench.
They're going to be a fun group for the people down in Hoya Land to watch. Very explosive, very exciting.
Jahidi White checks out. Yaya Ja has checked in for Georgetown, a junior out of
what a
Senegal.
nice look right there. Give the assist created by Mr. Marbury. Great eyes, great feel. He anticipates well.
Maddox the finish, and he has 7. Iverson short with the long one. There's Ya. And he gets it out on top to Tuomo.
Ya's a leader. He's a complimentary player.
And a 3 for Jerome Williams, 7 for your favorite Hoya.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. When he starts knocking down threes, you can have a long night if you're Georgia Tech. He's not a long-range shooter.
Georgetown by 7. Marbury distributes and gets it back from Gaston. Now they switch it for Berry. Thought about the behind-the-back pass. And strong on the rebound and the break, Williams. Iverson. And an offensive foul.
Barry did a great job stepping in on Iverson, put him up in the air. Barry hurt that ankle, but does the little things to help a club. Here he is right now. Shows his experience. He anticipates Iverson. Iverson leaves his feet. He's right there on. Great job by Barry to take that charge.
And remember, Georgia Tech only plays 7 people. That lack of depth against a team like Georgetown that goes 9 or 10 deep and plays that pace could be telling in the second half.
They have never been a club under Bobby Crevens to utilize a bench. Right now, here's the zone. You got to get into the seams and gaps of the zone.
Barry for Gaston, and that's a big 3 for him coming off the bench.
I'll tell you, he's been a positive player. He's got great athletic ability as well as excellent touch.
Iverson. Too much traffic.
A little bit out of control against the 5-man defense.
Marbury. Oh, look at him.
What a great charge. Oh, hello, New York. I'm home, baby. New York, New York. I'm home in the big city. Little 20-second timeout by John Thompson. Doesn't want this place to start rocking. Doesn't want it to become the Stephon show. He's magical. He's magnificent. He's marvelous. Oh, Digger, you got to like this guy, Digger. Look at that change of direction. Mike T jumps out of his seat. He says, yes, look at the strength. Look at the upper body strength for the little guy. And here's the conversion.
Santa Clara has moved it out now to a 12-point lead in Maui.
Steve Nash is going to play at the next level from out of Canada. Big long-range shooter. Had a bad night shooting the rock the other day. It was 1 for 9 yesterday, but he can shoot the basketball.
Our championship game will match up Arizona against the winner of this one, 9:30 Eastern from the Garden here on ESPN. Arizona started the season unranked. If they win that one, they'll be way up there.
John Thompson's got a real nice influx of new players. Owinji out of junior college is going to be a good player, a rebounder, defensive player.
That was Victor Page on the drive, and the Hoyas will have it back.
Victor Page is a prolific scorer. He really has a nose for the basket and knows how to score. You don't score 33 points a game in Washington, D.C. and not be able to score.
Intercept. Marbury got in front of him, and Jerome Williams commits his first foul.
I love talking to Stephon when he says, you know, you got to have a certain air of confidence. When I walk on the floor, he says, I look my guy in the eye, and I basically say, hey, I'm going to get numbers today. I'm going to take you apart, and I'm going to get numbers. I mean, he has that air of confidence from bouncing a rock on a pavement out of Brooklyn, New York.
Georgetown has turned the ball over 9 times. Marbury at the line.
Got to get a little bit more knee flexion on that free throw.
Tech is only 4 out of 10 from the line so far.
Yeah, that hurts you when you're looking at a 2-point game and you're shooting 40% on the line. That's trouble city.
Stephon Marbury with 4. It's back to a 1-point game with 9:10 before halftime. Iverson with a big step.
Oh, what a great step to the basket. Owen cuts off his driving angle. There's a monster dunk. Oh, you don't want to taunt anybody. You want to just put it down and get back on defense, Mr. Maddox. Don't need any show. Don't need any mouth. Don't need any unsportsmanlike conduct. I'll get hit with a tee.
He was pumped after that one. Here's Iverson from Williams.
Nice look.
Baseline, Owinji.
Owinji gets the deuce, but Allen Iverson created the opportunity.
We are watching some athletes on this floor right now. Very short. Ball climbs out of bounds. It'll be interesting with Barry's shot to see how much jumping he can get off the floor with that ankle for his jumper.
Yeah, he's really favoring that ankle. Bobby's going to have to go in and out with him, get him off the court a little bit, get him back on. Only thing is, you don't want that thing to tighten up by sitting on that sideline a long time. I'm not a doctor and an expert in those areas at all. I've had a tough enough time trying to analyze a basketball game.
A lot to analyze in this one. Hoyas by 3, 8:20 before halftime. That's Owinji on the wing. Finally, Harrington has the ball. Dishes off for Page. Well off. 2 Hoyas with it. Hartbrink took it away from Owinji. Barry has to wait, and he cannot score.
See, there's an example where the ankle really hurt him in that sequence.
He just didn't have the confidence to go up strong.
He didn't have the confidence to run after the basketball like he normally does.
Owinji out of control. No call. It'll go back to Georgetown.
See, I think you hurt your club more than you help your club when you're playing with 4.5 men, and that's what they're doing right now. I think they got to take Barry out of the lineup.
7:54 remaining, and the Hoyas up by 3.
There is a magic within them, a legendary quality. They are men of miracles. Fly with them in this extraordinary new video, NBA Legacy, Living Legends to Rising Stars. You also get the officially licensed NBA team sweatshirt of your choice. Both the authentic sweatshirt and the video are free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. NBA Legacy traces a line of superstars as greatness is passed from one generation to the next. You also get a great-looking heavyweight sweatshirt featuring the colorful logo of your favorite NBA team. No matter which team it is, it's free. When you order 54 issues of SI for only $1.47 an issue, save over 50% off the cover price. Use your credit card. Call now and get NBA Legacy plus the team sweatshirt of your choice, both free from Sports Illustrated. It's a sports experience like no other. Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
The term pigskin comes from the first football used in the game, the inflated bladder of a pig.
It's a whole new ball game on ESPN2. We're heading to El Paso as Marcus Harris leads the Cowboys of Wyoming to battle against the University of Texas El Paso. It's a whack shootout. Wyoming takes on University of Texas El Paso. Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2.
Reminder after the game at the Garden, it's the championship game of the Maui Invitational. In the third place game, Steve Nash, as Dick mentioned, getting it done. 13 points tonight, but not just on the offensive end. Good hustle to force the steal. Santa Clara is outplaying Michigan State. They led by 1 at the break. Right now, they lead by 10. Bob and Dick.
All right, Mike, and later it's Carolina and Villanova for the championship out there. And Billy Raftery's going to slide into New York and be here for the championship game Friday night. You'll be in Kansas City.
Yeah, I can't wait to get down there for the Martin Luther King Classic. See Kansas against Utah. Roy Williams has got a dynamite team. Also, we'll see Memphis and Purdue. Purdue going for their 3rd straight Big Ten title.
Heartbreak trapped in the corner. Double dribble.
That was great defensive pressure right there by Georgetown. Really rotating. I mean, John's got something special. The last great team they had is '89. That's the year John Thompson's club lost that unbelievable heartbreaker to Duke for the final game to go to the Final Four. There's the trap. That's a no man's land. Once you get into that area there, you're in major trouble.
But in 12.5 minutes, Tech has only turned it over 6 times.
Oh, what a nice look. Look at that pass. Marbury to Harpering. I mean, it's an excellent look. I mean, we're watching a diaper dandy, a kid that's played 3 college games.
Look at Iverson answer. That's 8 for him.
He says, Marbury, anything you can do, I can do better.
He's got 8. Marbury has 6. They each have a couple of assists and a couple of turnovers.
And they're both great players, both great talents. You talk about point guards. I think, number 1 today, if I'm coaching in college, I want to get me a great point guard. Look at that play right there. Oh, take a look, America. I mean, look at it, shaking and making their head on press row. I mean, Larry Donald, Mike Wilbon, Dickie Weiss, all the pressers shaking their head. Little shake and bake, New York City style.
Oh, guessed in the finish. It was goaltending. That's why we heard a whistle and there were no free throws. But the ball then went in anyway.
Some guys are born with the rock in their hands, and Marbury is one of them. He is a legitimate creator and innovator and a solid point guard, and I just love him as a personality. I really do. I got a great story to tell you about in the elevator with him today.
Ball touch, and then it hit the baseline from the hands of Owinji.
I was telling you the story. I'm in the elevator, and there I am looking at Bobby Cremins. And in the elevator is Matt Harpering, and there's Stephon Marbury and a few other players. And he said to me, he said, Coach, I'm taking all my boys to the hood. I'm taking them down to the hood. And when I walked off, it was so beautiful to see. Here's this African-American kid from the streets of New York talking to a teammate, Matt Harpering, who's from suburban, out in Marietta, Georgia. And you could just see the love they had for one another because of the jersey they represent. Who talks about racial problems right there? You talk about people playing for the purpose and playing for the school they represent.
Well said, Dick, and the round ball brings them together. It's the uniform that does it, as does the gray of Georgetown. Berry is back. Marbury will take a seat. And Michael Maddox, who's had some big moments early, will check back in.
That's Stefan going to the sideline. His basketball family, his 3 brothers, played on a big-time college level. His older brothers and his younger brothers, you said earlier, Zach, playing now for Lincoln High School in Brooklyn.
Berry, nice look. Saunders in the key. Maddox lost it as the Hoyas swarm once more. 6:19 before halftime. It's Georgetown leading 26-25.
Iverson right now, look at him backing Saunders right up to the foul line area.
Couldn't climb that one over the iron. Hoyas will keep it. Making a fresh 35 with 6:04 remaining.
So Georgetown has the kind of athletes again, like they had reminiscent when you talked about '89 with Alonzo Mourning and that crew, Bobby Winston.
Othello Harrington short. Page on the back door.
Just the score. Always going to come up with the deuce somehow, whether it be a transition, open jump shot, offensive rebound. At the end of the night, he'll have big numbers.
Hoyas press always because of their depth. They love the pace. But Berry takes care of it against Tuomu in the backcourt.
Tuomu really works on a defensive end. He's a DBT man. Drive, feed, and turn.
Saunders has a 3. Iverson left his man to try to get a steal, and Saunders was open.
Gary Saunders is a player that Howard Garfinkel, who stopped by a little bit earlier, a 5-star fame, really is very high on. Said he had him at the camp. He's just a solid all-around player.
Page, that's a 3. That's 9 for him, and the Hoyas retake the lead.
King Victor doesn't waste any time, coming back with 3. Then he's put some defensive pressure right on Barry. Barry says, I got a bad ankle. Take it easy on me.
Maddox, oh, he can do it inside, and he's got the 3. And Michael Maddox has 12 already.
He's always been able to do it from the perimeter. He's added the interior to his game.
He deflected the pass of Page intended for Harrington. Othello will go down low and post up again.
Well, at least on the inside, they were really concerned about trying to handle Othello, but they're getting a little help because they're not getting the ball inside to Othello. What?
And the 3s are being traded now like commodities down on Wall Street.
I'll tell you what,
one after the other.
A lot of the Wall Street execs stopped in here after doing all their work down here on the Wall Street.
There are a lot of suits watching this game at the Garden tonight. Iverson has 11, by the way. Harper through traffic. Tough rebound, Jerome Williams.
And he does a great job of dribbling the ball out after rebounding. Good handling. And lays a screen out there for Iverson.
He got his man skying. That was Tuomo. Had Elisma off the floor. That 3 a little bit short. Good box out by Matt Harper. Here's Berry.
He's got Maddox.
He already has 6 assists. Cannot score. That's Maddox with the putback.
I'll tell you, Mike Maddox is growing up. He is becoming a much more complete player. He's taking his game and elevating. He's stepping it up. He's getting better and better with each performance.
He has more tonight than he had in all of his first 2 games. Harrington.
He said, hey, nobody going to get me to run. I'm just going to go up and get it. From out of Mississippi, played at Mura High School.
In Jackson.
Outstanding high school program.
He's actually down 15 pounds from last year. Othello checked in at a svelte 235 for John Thompson for his senior year.
Did a great job against Donald Foyle, the great player from out of Colgate. Held him to a deuce with a little help from his friends.
Yellow Jackets down by 3. 3:10 before halftime.
Fairness to Donald, he didn't have the helping pass that Mr. Harrington has.
Shot clock at 2. Elisma throws it away. After the timeout, Marbury will check back in. So will a couple of Hoyas. They lead by 3.
It's better.
Not bitter.
surprise.
Sweet.
Ocean Spray.
Ruby red and tangerine grapefruit juice drink.
This is grapefruit. It's better.
Not bitter. Surprise. Yeah, it's sweet.
It has two tastes, like sweet at first and then grapefruit at the end.
Sweet grapefruit and tangerines.
Tangerine? Wow. It's better.
Much, much better. Not bitter.
What a surprise.
It's very, very sweet.
It's not any ordinary grapefruit juice.
It's got a sweet grapefruit taste you'll crave.
Ruby red and tangerine. Crave the wave. Ocean Spray.
It may seem like a funny analogy, but building the Chrysler Cirrus was a lot like making a movie. We produced it, released it to a critical audience, and waited for the reviews. Car and Driver called Cirrus the new benchmark for compact sedans. Automobile Magazine raved about its brilliant styling and excellent handling. Motor Trend said it's the most significant vehicle in the market. Cirrus has received great reviews and a lot of awards, but that's no surprise, considering its performance.
A sparkling ship on crystal waters is coming.
Absolutely gorgeous. It was so much fun.
The perfect lobster is coming.
Our waiters, they would do anything for us, any time.
Perfection is coming.
A gift from the captain.
Memories are coming. 7 days in Royal Caribbean's Caribbean are coming. You've got some Royal Caribbean coming.
Lead by 3. Final 3 minutes before halftime, and let's check in on the Marbury-Iverson matchup. 4 assists for Stefan, the freshman. Iverson, the defensive player of the year in the Big East last year with a couple of takeaways, although Stefan has matched him in that department. They've both given us, Dick, flashes of brilliance in this first 17 minutes.
Well, Iverson's an outstanding lead guard. He's got that great scoring ability. And also Marbury can score, but he's thinking pass a little bit more, where Allen is thinking a little bit more shot.
Victor Page took some contact from Gary Saunders.
You know, last time these two teams hooked up was 1985 up in Providence for the right to go to the Final Four, and Georgetown came out the winner in that game. And that's the year Georgetown had Ewing and Reggie Williams and David Wingate and Billy Martin and Michael Jackson. Georgia Tech wasn't too bad either. That's the club they had with Dalrymple, and they had Price, and they had Sally and Joseph and Farrell. I mean, we're talking some big-time players in that era.
You don't think of these two teams together, these two schools. This is a series that goes back to 1921. Rico and Digger are in the studio, and they've got the Delsa Fawcett halftime report coming up. And how about UCLA? What a story that is.
Yeah, 1 and 2 out of the gate. I think, you know, when you look right now, they're going to just certainly have to regroup mentally, but don't forget the fact they got to regroup as a team as well. They lost 3 players who had a total of 45 points and 17 rebounds and a lot of experience in Edney, O'Bannon, and certainly Zeta.
Hoyas by 5, 2.5 to go. Drew Berry has not scored. He's playing hurt.
He really is playing hurt. He's not playing. He can barely now look it back in defensive transition. Look at a high rise, the Skywalker, the little guy, Allen Iverson. What a team they had that won the gold medal in Japan with Kittles and Allen and Tim Duncan and Lorenzen Wright. I can't wait to see Wright this week. Ray Allen told me, he said he's probably the best big man I've played with. He said, I love Lorenzen Wright.
Iverson has 13 now. Marbury, nobody open, took the 3 and missed. And Victor Page will run with it. Marbury snuffs it out and gets the INT.
Now he's got to create the opportunity by attacking.
Right past Iverson.
I'll go right to the basket. Very strong upper body. I'll tell you, they have not disappointed anyone, Marbury and Iverson.
There's Berry with the steal.
Get it to Marbury.
3 on 2. He does.
Get it to Marbury. Oh, he doesn't finalize.
Got the foul, though. The Great Alaska Shootout, another one of these great tournaments in the preseason on ESPN. Tomorrow at 10 Eastern, the Hoosiers and the host team, Alaska Anchorage. Look for Brian Evans of Indiana. And then tomorrow on ESPN, it's ODU and Duke. The Capels are getting together. Father against son. And Coach K is back as well.
Barry is left. Barry's going out to the locker room. You could see he was really struggling. He was playing really with one leg, and you're not going to help the team, help yourself.
7 in the first half for Stephon Marbury.
Gutty effort by Barry. I wouldn't expect anything else being a Barry. I mean, you talk about a family that prides itself. And hey, the mom, let me tell you, we always talk about the dad, but the mom, she came from a great basketball background. Her dad was an outstanding coach. Coach Hale, coached at the University of Miami, coached at the ABA.
Yellow Jackets hanging around. Hoyas by 3. Left baseline, it won't go for Victor Page. Harpring tried to go off to the races, but he forgot the rock. And here's Iverson.
And they didn't forget the rock. They know where to get it. You know, Harrington's not scoring, but he's got 7 rebounds. So he's keeping very active in other ways.
Look at the hustle of Page. They contest every pass.
They really come after you. Deny, overplay, put pressure on the basketball. They're like 3 parts to their defense. Pressure the basketball, deny the next pass, and make sure we attack the glass on the shot.
Iverson. They got it off the inbounds play. Page is taking a seat. I'll spread the floor a little bit here in the last minute.
I like Tuomo. I really believe he's going to help this club as a 3rd guard coming off the bench. He and Jackson didn't play their senior year because of a knee injury.
Marbury gets his 2nd foul as he grabbed Allen Iverson, who has scored 15 points in the first half.
You know, a lot of people talking about it in all the articles. Will Marbury leave? What about Iverson leaving? No Georgetown player under John Thompson has left early, and he never sits down and talks to them about it. He told me, I never talked, as he watched the move by Williams on the interior, he said, I never talked to Alonzo Mourning and Ewing about possibly leaving early or Mutombo. He said, heck, they've done pretty well in terms of earning a few dollars.
Hey, how about Georgetown? 97% graduation rate. John Thompson's had 72 out of 74 players who've stayed 4 years. 97% the graduation rate at that outstanding institution.
Take a look at Jerome Williams. He's one of my unsung heroes. He's a guy that I say got to get some ink. Here he is going to split the defense. I talk about guys like Porter Roberts. He would be my all unsung hero team from Purdue. Mark Hendrickson from Washington State. He would fit that category as well. Rashad Allen from down at Tulane is another guy I would throw up on that club. I'd throw on Daron Scheffer as well, out of Connecticut.
Victor Page back in. Rebound and a strong one by Jerome Williams.
Every rebound he goes after is...
How can you lose Jahidi?
I don't know. How could you forget? How could you not find that big wide body?
6'9", 270. Somebody had to see him.
See, that's a breakdown. Young players, and that's maybe right there the loss of a Barry. You would take charge in that situation, so you got to be aware. You got to be the team leader. You got to step up if you're Marbury and say, hey, we got a guy behind us.
Hoyas by 8. Out on top, Marbury in traffic. And a turnover. Georgetown has a chance for a double-digit lead.
You talk about tenacious and really tenacity. Georgetown just doesn't relent. They're relentless. They just keep coming after you, after you, and after you.
Iverson has to gun it up. They will settle for an 8-point lead at the half.
Just solid defense by Georgetown, and really the presence and the scoring of Allen Iverson was so explosive.
Well, Mike Tirico, Arizona earlier in the nightcap. Georgetown has turned on the pressure cooker here in New York.
Yeah, Bob, well-played, crisp basketball. If you weren't ready for the hoop season, watching a little bit of this game did. One reason, speed.
Speed, Michael, and I'll tell you what happened early was that spurt before halftime when both teams just went at it. That's where speed creates the full court gain. A lot of good defense by Georgetown, but more importantly, unbelievable offensive explosion by both teams.
Good first half. Second half is ahead. We'll see if Tech can come back with Barry's ankle dinged up. Coming up now, it's the Delta Faucet halftime report. We'll have scores and highlights, including our first NIT semifinal when Arizona and Michigan had a close game the last couple of minutes. We'll show you how it came out when you come back.
ESPN's presentation of the NIT is brought to you by Chrysler and the new Chrysler Cirrus Sports Sedan.
The
The all-new Plymouth Voyager has easy-out roller seats that you can't get on any other minivan. And an exclusive driver's side sliding door. In fact, Voyager not only surpasses every other minivan on the road, but with a 3-liter, 150 horsepower V6 engine, it has 36 times the cargo space of a Porsche 911 for about a third of the price.
If more top mechanics use one motor oil over any other brand in their own cars and trucks, maybe it's time you changed your oil. Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics.
Get up and at 'em Friday, because JCPenney opens extra early for store-wide doorbuster savings. Save an additional 10% on select sale items from 7 a.m. to noon, Friday only.
It could only come from here. Canada, the home of ice. Molson Ice. Ice brewed to be colder and bolder. Yet smooth as ice. Molson Ice. From the land where ice was born.
When plumbers hit the road, they carry more than a truckload of faucets and pipes. They carry knowledge about products, like why the finishes and solid brass construction of Delta faucets are right for you. They carry knowledge about styles and knowledge about procedures and codes that tell you they're as committed to perfection as we at Delta are. In fact, there's only one thing as dependable as Delta faucets, and that's the plumber who installs them. Delta, the way water is brought to life.
Second NIT semifinal at the Garden. Iverson and the Hoyas lead by 8. We're back on the Delta Faucet halftime report. Our first semifinal, Arizona and Michigan. What were the keys to this game in your mind?
Tell you, Arizona's experience versus Michigan's youth. Great game, but a little different ending.
Michigan's youth showing itself in terms of athleticism here. They were down early, but Maceo Baston, one block. Then he'll reject Miles Simon. Travis Conlon starts the break. Baston did the defensive work, the offensive payback for Steve Fisher's team. 8 freshmen and sophomores on this team, and Lewis Bullock, one of the youngsters. The steal and the donkey at 22. Michigan down most of the way within 3, 71-68. But the Wildcats start to pull away. Albert White misses the 3. Then Miles Simon to Dickerson for the jam. Zona by 8, but Michigan scored the next 6. They were close. Then what happened, Digger?
Watch the experience factor. Ben Davis, they go to him inside. He reads the defense. Feeds it to Dickerson, who sees Joseph Blair underneath for the slam dunk, and that's why experience is important.
Michigan came out with a double when they were doing a good job in half-court defense, and Arizona comes away with a 7-point win. The team that won the 1990 preseason NIT moves on to the finals. Now some other tournaments going on ESPN2. Good finish. Santa Clara leads Michigan State by 3. The lead had been double digits earlier. The Spartans digging in, getting back. We'll keep you updated on that one. That's in Maui, where earlier today, UCLA, Jan Van Bredekoff's team, Vanderbilt, getting the job done. They've hit double-digit three-pointers every game this year. 10 of them today. UCLA was down 4 late, so J.R. Henderson's heave at the end. Insignificant, but what is significant, Jim Harrick's team now 1-2, Digger. They lose by 4.
Well, they missed a lot of layups. Their foul shooting isn't good. I don't think offensively they have a rhythm yet. They really miss Ty Edney, and that's where Jim Harrick gets his team home, gets them reorganized. He takes over as the leader where they lack the experience of leadership on the floor.
That was the 5th-place game in Maui. In the 7th-place game, Wisconsin beat Chaminade 104-66. So the host Silver Swords 0-3. Wisconsin leaving the islands 1-2. That's the 7th place, 5th place game. The championship game comes up after our game. Villanova, the Wildcats, take on the North Carolina Tar Heels. 10:30 Eastern. As soon as we're done in New York, send you to John Saunders and Bill Raftery out in Maui. Reminder, the championship game of the NIT will be Arizona, and the winner of Georgia Tech, Georgetown. We'll have that for you, 9:30 Eastern on Friday night, part of a terrific night of college hoops on ESPN. Georgetown may be there. Georgetown alum is in South Florida tonight. Alonzo Mourning and the Miami Heat in action. NBA highlights and scores as we continue at halftime.
This halftime report is presented by Delta Faucet and your dependable Delta Plumbing professional. Together, they're the way water is brought to life.
Hey, I know big.
And the Ace Really Big Sale is gigantic. It's a huge opportunity to find big-name products like this and this at really small prices. So hurry down to Ace. It just doesn't get any bigger than this.
If you got a beard, we've got your number. The adjustable Maverick Beard and Mustache Trimmer with 6 different settings. Man, does this do a number on beards. Maverick from Norelco.
Finding out Little Caesar's new stuffed crust pizza is a better deal at only $7.99 results in a kind of wacky happiness. A large cheese and pepperoni stuffed crust pizza. Carried out at Little Caesar's, a better deal at just $7.99.
Pizza, pizza.
Now get any of Little Caesar's pizzas delivered right to your door.
Hey, beautiful toga.
Delivery.
In the old days, building a railroad was hard work. But now, it's easy, thanks to the exclusive new Bachmann Easy Track system. Easy Track snaps together and stays together. On floors, tables, and even carpets. No nails or special tools needed. So now you can build a railroad without all the hard labor. Bachmann HO trains with the exclusive new Easy Track system. Now that's the way to run a railroad.
Bell helmets. Courage for your head.
Jerome Williams, a big factor for Georgetown in the first half, Digger.
Mike, he's the cement of this team. He had 23 rebounds going in the first 2 games, and tonight, right now, 9 points, 4 rebounds. I love the way he plays.
Part of the reason Georgetown is up 8 in our NIT semifinal as the Delta Faucet halftime report continues. Former Hoya Alonzo Mourning, now Miami Heat star. He's had 3 consecutive games of double figures in points and boards. Alonzo in action tonight in South Florida, Miami, taking on Golden State. More pressing matters, I should say, for Zoe, the Warriors. Alonzo takes on the pass from Keith Askins for the jam. Warriors playing well. Chris Moen, the lay-in, blowing by the Miami defense. Joe Smith tonight. Tim Hardaway the dish. Smith the acrobatic jam. Warriors had the lead at the half by 8. They're now 4th quarter. The Miami lead is 6. The Grizzlies giving the Magic a game, trying to snap an 8-game slide. The Rockets have won 5 in a row. Tight one with Philadelphia. Knicks looking for 4 straight against Cleveland. Bulls and Spurs. First quarter, San Antonio down 3. Avery Johnson the drive. Admiral with the follow off the miss. Spurs down 1. Still in the first. Michael to Scotty. Sorry. Bulls by 3. Pippen, 10 of their 23 in the first. Second quarter, Jordan outside. Michael, 18 at the half. The Bulls led at the break by 4. Michael against David is right now that 4-point lead. And Barkley, who scored 20 in every game this year, he and the Suns hosting Atlanta. In Charlotte, Larry Johnson, 40 points after 3, but the Hornets in a hole. Bullets handling the Pistons by 7 in Motown. Sonics lead the all-time series 21-3, looking to make it 22 in the Twin Cities. Raptors looking to make it 4 in a row are in Milwaukee. The Jazz looking to make it 6 straight. Right now hosting Sacramento and leading but early. We have hockey for you. Sure we do. The National Hockey League situation tonight includes the Rangers looking for the sweep of the Pens up 2. Whalers lead the Canadiens by 2. In Ottawa, the debut for Dave Allison, not good through 2. The Islanders looking for their first win in 6 home games. Tampa Bay at home with a goal lead on the struggling Stanley Cup champs. The Red Wings, if they hold on to that lead, will make it 7 in a row. Vancouver hasn't won in their last 7. Right now, the Canucks do lead the Stars in Dallas, and the Avalanche, they haven't lost at home. They lead the Blackhawks by 1. Reminder, college football. Thanksgiving night after the weekend kickoff show, Baylor and Texas. The Longhorns, the only team unbeaten within the Southwest Conference. More as we continue.
Got hold of a good one. Introducing the no annual fee ESPN MasterCard, the only card that makes you a sports VIP. Earn insider access with every purchase. And this team headed for victory lane. Earn VIP privileges at major sports events. He's racking up points every time he turns. And exclusive savings on Dream Week vacations and events with sports celebrities. And points for exclusive ESPN collectibles. The ESPN MasterCard. Your VIP credentials all over the sports world. Call 1-800-995-ESPN to apply for your ESPN MasterCard. You want inside? Now you've got the key. Make purchases with this MasterCard and you'll rack up points that make you part of the action. So if you live for sports, get credit for it. Call 1-800-995-ESPN to apply. There's no annual fee, so call now. You'll get a free ESPN VIP t-shirt after your first ESPN MasterCard purchase. Call now.
Next is Lady. Exceptional sheen. Oh, very good color. Prince. Hands. Oh, such stateliness, such majesty.
Larry. Larry.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
The best of show? Mort.
The Delta Faucet halftime report continues. Georgetown leads our game by 8. The Great Alaska Shootout is underway. Iowa and Ohio, and Chris Kingsbury, the range is unlimited. He's letting go already. Iowa's last home game last year, they beat Ohio to end the season, but the Gary Trentless era starting okay for Ohio as they lead by 3. That's the Great Alaska Shootout. It's a final now in Maui. Santa Clara leaving with a good record. They beat Michigan State by 6, holding off Tom Izzo's team. To update Santa Clara's record now, they are 2-1. Reminder on ESPN2 later on tonight, midnight Eastern time. The UConn Huskies, their 95-96 debut against Tubbs' team, TCU. That's at midnight Eastern time. Stephon Marbury, what'd you think of him in the first half, Digger?
We know he can score. We know he's got great speed, but I love his passing ability. When he goes down the floor, he can find the open man too quick and score, but he knows how to dish it too, and that's the improvement of him in the first half.
Ready? Get him.
Isn't it just like Delta?
Let's make it really cool.
To design a faucet that's at both the height of style and practicality. Delta, the way water is brought to life.
The family of the future will have many hundreds of television channels.
Gee, mister, won't that be confusing?
Not with this, a video guide. It'll let them see what's on 7 days into the future, or what's on right now. It'll give them instant news and sports scores. And with just one touch, they'll even be able to tape record their favorite television shows. Don't forget the tape.
So what do you think they'd call this video guide?
Video Guide. It's about time.
From the producer of Pulp Fiction.
I'm coming to get you, boy, because I'm your man and you're my man.
Comes the surprise movie of the year.
You fire me?
Time says Travolta delivers.
Yeah, what'd he say? I don't get involved in these matters.
A heartbreaking portrayal.
I can't even make it.
Just do something.
Absolutely electric. Travolta's just terrific.
I promise you, honey, it's gonna be better.
John Travolta, Harry Belafonte, White Man's Burden. Rated R. Starts Friday, December 1st at theaters everywhere.
Roll into Pep Boys right now and get a full set of 4 70,000-mile tires for just $169. That's any size, any 4 70,000-mile tires in stock for just $169 at Pep Boys now. Need antifreeze? At Pep Boys and Parts USA, we've got this and that and this and that. We have every major brand at everyday low prices, like this for only that. New temp for just $3.99 a gallon after mail-in rebate at all Pep Boys and Parts USA stores now.
Hoyas almost had a double-digit lead at the half. They settled for an 8-point advantage. They've really turned up the pressure. They're doing a great job on the boards. And, Dick, we've seen the guard matchup man-to-man, head-to-head several times tonight.
Yeah, there's been some exciting plays, but you said the key word, the glass. They've done a great job, Georgetown, 2-1 on the glass. In fact, they have more offensive rebounds than Georgia Tech has in total rebounds. But that matchup of those perimeter players was special when you talk about Marbury and Mr. Iverson. We take a look right here. Here's Allen Iverson. Now he's going to use the screen, and now he's going to come down the lane. But Marbury, he jumps in, he makes the steal, and now he's going to take it to the goal. He's going to cut off the defensive player, and he's going to go right to the basket. Very strong. There's the conversion, goes down to the deck. And then on the other side, we're going to watch Allen Iverson right in the passing lane. He's going to make the steal. Barry dumps it down, and here comes Allen, and off to the races. Up, and away. Look at his legs. I mean, look at this little guy. Look at him sky. He's a skywalker. And then he says, you know what? I can shoot the three, too. Tuomo kicks it to him off a curl move. He says, I'm going to show the NBA range. Forget the college range. It's area code jump shot time. Mr. Iverson. Look at those stats right there. Check out the glass. 23 for Georgetown, only 10 for Georgia Tech. And then we look at the shooting totals are pretty even. Except for the free throw line, Georgia Tech gets a little edge right there. And points in the paint. Georgetown with the big edge.
Hey, Dick, I just asked Drew Barry how he feels. He shook his head no. He said, I just can't get loose. It's really bothered me. But he's starting and still playing hurt for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, he's lame right now. He's limping. There's no question.
Barry running the offense. Maybe Barry can make a shot or two outside. Oh, Dad would be proud of that one.
Well, he was able to square his body, get the good look. But look at him limping right now. I mean, he is really favoring his ankle.
He did have 6 assists in the first half. There's the putback, and guess who? Iverson.
Iverson with the tip on the inside. That's got to be a nightmare if you're Bobby Cremins and a little guy can step in and make that tip. Oh, there's the foul. No contact. They said no contact. Marbury can't believe it. Come on, give me a break.
And then Jerome Williams walking with the ball after they came up with it. You know, both teams shot pretty well. Georgia Tech 13 of 25 in the first half, 52%, but that was 12 less attempts than Georgetown had. They were 20 of 37, 54%.
Well, you talk about rebounding. It starts with Jerome Williams. I grabbed the fine columnist in the Washington Post, Michael Wilpon. I said, get the kid some ink. He deserves ink.
Here's Page. Here's Iverson.
Very
Here's
selfish.
Page.
Little two-man game. Iverson says, I got to take care of Victor because he'll take care of me.
Largest lead now, 9 points, just over a minute into the second half.
Georgetown really hurt you big time off the steal. Off the missed shot and the steal, they just are so explosive from the defensive end to the offensive end.
Barry finds Marbury circling around. Rebound Maddox. It won't go for him after the big first half he had. Harrington knocks down Harpering and play continues.
Hey, fellas done an excellent job rebounding here tonight.
A running rebound for Eddie Elisma. His first rebound of the night. He has not scored a point.
Yeah, he's not really an offensive player, but he needs some defensive presence from him and also some rebounding.
Very short. Got his own. He'll try again. And he's got 5.
So he starts scoring some points. That ankle starts to get a little better. That adrenaline starts flowing. It's like playing on a pavement. You don't want to leave. You play winners. You want to stay out there.
There's Ja. Nice dump down.
Ovella. The big O says, I'm going to put a little O in the book. A little offense.
That's his second field goal of the night. Back to 9 it goes for the Hoyas. Marbury trying to make too much happen, and Iverson stuffed him.
Yeah, he calls the jump ball, alternate possession.
They will get it back, but that play will do a little psychological damage, maybe.
No, it goes over to Georgetown in basketball.
Okay, they had the arrow going the other way. Now they fixed it.
And deservedly so. I'd like to say, I said this last year, that was a great defensive play. Iverson head-to-head with all the experiences. Come on, Mr. Marbury. This is not high school. This is the big leagues now, and I got a year's experience. I'm going to show you why I was player of the year defensively in the Big East.
Iverson, Jackets chasing him everywhere, and finally a foul.
He's starting to dominate. He really is starting to dominate the game.
That will be number 3 on Bobby Cremins Jr., Eddie Elisma. And again, we update the backcourt matchup.
Well, you see the 16 points, 3 assists, 2 steals. Iverson's an outstanding player on the defensive end, as we documented with his award, the player of the year defensively in the Big East. I mean, that's an amazing accomplishment for a freshman. Stefan looking at the scores. I don't like that. This is my home territory. I'm home here.
Hey, when's the last time he ever looked at a scoreboard in New York City and saw his team behind?
I know. He's played here 3 times. Played here in high school twice.
Iverson with 19.
sensational. Here comes Georgetown with Williams at the point of the press, using those long arms, bobbing the passing lane.
Harpering for Maddox. Bounce pass through. And as Elisma made his move for the basket, the ball was behind him.
See, the one thing Georgetown does, they keep coming after you with pressure. You beat the first wave. Look, Bobby Crump says, hey, what's happening, guys? Come on, settle down. This is New York. I'm from New York. Got my family here.
There's Page from Iverson. Victor has 15.
And he scored a lot. The two of them are going to put a lot of points on the board, Iverson and Page.
Barry looks like he's moving okay now. Out the way!
Nice change of direction.
7 for Drew, all since halftime, in 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
I would imagine it's hurting when he's coming down on an ankle after going up and scoring. Iverson against Barry, wants a strip of Barry playing off, so I'll let you shoot the long-range jumper.
Nice switch off on the baseline. Ball taken away from Williams. And Marbury loses it because of Page's pressure.
See, what I would do right now with Marbury, he's really struggling. I would take him out for about 30 seconds, sit him down, and bring him right back on the floor. You mentioned earlier, it's been a tough time for Bobby Cremins and Georgia Tech. Last 2 years, no postseason. The year before those two, he beats North Carolina, wins the ACC tournament, gets beat in the first round by Southern.
Last year, beaten in the first round of the ACC by Virginia. They voted no when the NIT asked them to come to New York for the postseason.
I just thought that was an emotional decision. They were so down as Obella's starting to get involved offensively. Georgetown really getting now some inside as well as perimeter scoring.
Warriors by 13. They seem to reach a new biggest lead every time down the floor. Drew Barry wants a foul call. Frank Scagliotta didn't give it to him. The Hoyas giving him plenty of heat, and it's a 13-point Georgetown lead.
Get up and at 'em Friday, because JCPenney opens extra early for store-wide doorbuster savings. Save an additional 10% on select sale items from 7 a.m. to noon. Friday only.
Rebel, take your creativity to a whole new level.
Express yourself
with EOS lenses and the Rebel X from Canon.
Time changes. Nothing lasts forever. Either you change or you get left behind. Today's technology is amazing, but the batteries got left behind. Well, Rayovac changed all of that. Renew them. They're alkaline like regular batteries, but more advanced. You can renew them, reuse them, and they come back strong. It's so easy to throw them in here. Why would I throw them out there? Play smart. Rayovac Renewal.
Foot action. Foot action's when I take my man off the dribble, run through a double pick, then square up behind the arc and take it up over some guy like he's been dipped in concrete and left out to dry. That's foot action when you bust open and it starts raining threes.
Foot action's also where to get the latest Nike shoes and stuff you wear when you're doing your thing.
Looks like severe thunderstorms are headed towards the New York area.
For every action, there's foot action.
Georgetown by 13, looking for a date Friday night here on ESPN in the championship game with Arizona.
Yeah, they don't want a date in that consolation.
We'll have the championship game at 9:30 Eastern time Friday night.
I know Billy's going to be here. Billy Raftery coming in from Maui. I'm headed out to Kansas City. Going to get a look at the Jayhawks. You talk about a backcourt, Jared Haas and certainly Jock Vaughn. Not only great basketball players, they epitomize the term student athlete. Both guys with a 3.7 average. LaFrentz, they tell me he's a lot stronger. Pollard, very active. Paul Pearson, diaper dandy. Calvin Rayford Pearson. I mean, Roy Williams has got himself a dandy team. They'll be rock chalk Jayhawking down there.
Nothing like that chance to get you ready for hoops in Allen Fieldhouse. Although Dick will be in Kansas City. Maddox bounces it right to Victor Page.
And look at him explode out of the gate.
A little too explosive. Nothing but jackets down the floor. Easy for Harpring.
Harpring's had a tough time getting some good looks at the basket. At 39 points in 2 games coming into this game.
Georgetown gets it right back. No call. Oh, my goodness. Way up there, Boubacar out.
Cooper Carlisle is one of those complimentary players, a guy that runs, jumps, plays on the defensive end.
Maddox for Berry. Maddox. That's a 2. He had his toe on the line.
Yeah, so you got to be aware of that line. If you're that close, you got to back it up. You got to back it up an inch or two. If you play for Kentucky now, he takes you out of the lineup. He says, sit down next to me, Patino. If you're that close, you got to be aware. You got to be alert.
And those Wildcats will be on ESPN.
Bobby Kremen's one of the best liked, most liked people. I'll tell you something. He's just got a great personality. The kids love him.
There's a foul away from the ball. It looked like Jerome Williams did a little grabbing. That'll be his second. Kentucky Friday night and Maryland in that Hall of Fame tip-off classic. That will be a good one.
There are so many great games coming up. I mean, you've got every conference, every great team you want. You know, took a look at John right there. 21 consecutive postseason tournament berths, 18 NCAAs, 5 Big East titles, regular season, 6 Big East tournament titles, graduating his players. Get him ready for the Hall of Fame. I mean, if Dean and Bobby and those guys are in, John's ready for it.
Drew Berry is back. He has 9 points, all since halftime, in 5.5 minutes.
What pressure Iverson puts on a defense, the way he runs the ball up the court.
Berry catches it and runs with it, and he thought he saw Victor Page out of the corner of his eye. He just took a straight line up the floor, and Page made the contact for his 3rd foul.
I think we're going to see a spurt by Georgia Tech to make this really interesting. I think they have a spurt in them that they're going to get back into this hunt.
Joseph Tuomu checks back in for Bobby Kremen's opponent, John Thompson. There's Tuomu, the 6'2 freshman out of Cameroon, via Williams to North Carolina.
Bobby Kremen's also successful now in recruiting again this year, as he recruited a kid by the name of Machado, Pablo Machado, a kid from out of Venezuela.
Marbury from Berry. He'll flash. He will just hit it a little too long.
But that was a super move. High percentage shot, split the defense.
That was Othello Harrington's 9th rebound of the night. Uncontested underneath. An easy 2 for Owinji.
I'll tell you one thing. Georgetown has that typical offensive rebounding team. Holiday days at Georgetown in the 80s, and also Louisville for years used to live off the offensive rebound.
Bobby Kremens wants a timeout. 13:38 remaining. He's doing everything he can to keep his team in this game.
It has 12 cylinders, 492 horsepower, and 1 antifreeze coolant to protect it all, Zerex. And now Zerex comes in an easy carry 3-pack, the perfect amount for the 2-car family. Today's engines are made for Zerex.
If you got a beard, we've got your number. The adjustable Maverick beard and mustache trimmer with 6 different settings. Man, does this do a number on beards. Maverick from Norelco.
Here's another clever idea from Plymouth. In the new Plymouth Grand Voyager, a seat is not only a seat, it's a table and a cup holder. It can come with a drawer, and one seat can convert into 2 reclining child safety seats. Overall, the Plymouth Grand Voyager seats are the best minivan seats on wheels. In fact, they're the only minivan seats on wheels. Clever idea. Plymouth Grand Voyager. It simply slides, folds, protects, unfolds, rolls, and drives better.
That'll be $6.
Harry.
Yeah?
How come you're charging me for the hot dogs?
The 52-inch Magnabox big screen TV with smart screen and a picture so good you can charge for the hot dogs. Smart. Very smart. Now get a pair of wireless speakers free when you purchase a Magnabox big screen TV.
On the way back to the Garden in Alaska, number 10, Iowa, getting it done in transition, the junior. Jess settles the dunk for the Hawkeyes.
Iowa's press will be the big factor as they go after a Big Ten championship and challenge Purdue with Andre Woolridge. Getting it in, yes, for 2.
Iowa, good run, 10-2 right now. Bob?
Boy, coaches get excited about those kind of guys, don't they?
Oh, wait a minute, my guy Digger. Challenge Purdue. What about Indiana? What about Michigan? Come on, Digger.
Well, Digger coached a lot of years in the Hoosier State. He knows all about those boilers.
I'll tell you one thing, he never reaches in his pockets and pays for anything. There's a little kickoff down here. I went to dinner with him, I don't know how many times in South Bend over the last month and a half. Not his favorite place, Parisi's, and he never reaches down in his pockets. Oh, wait, I got to get back to the game. I can't talk about that. You can't stray.
2 shots, guys.
Third foul for Jerome Williams. At the line, Juan Gaston, the freshman out of Decatur, Georgia. Georgetown has checked Jahidi White back in. Number 55, right bottom corner of your screen. Nice touch there, and Juan has 6.
Georgia Tech is one post player away from really being a top 10 basketball team. And tonight it has really shown, because they haven't been able to do the job on the boards, neutralizing the offensive rebounding power of Georgetown.
Nice high off the glass. That's 17 for Victor Page.
I like Victor Page's. He's got that old-fashioned one hand running with the knee up in the air off the glass.
Marbury fights off Tuomu. Here's Berry. Back to the freshman. Well off with the 3. And rebounded physically by Godwin Owinji.
Oh, go! Teddy Valentine says score, and I got the block.
Berry the foul.
I'll tell you, this year in the Big East, you talk about excitement with Kittles and Allen and Iverson and Page. John Wallace, stars galore. There's a little acrobatic. And Teddy Valentine with the call on the block. Valentine does an outstanding job.
You know, Dick, you talked about that rebounding. Georgetown 23-10 at the half. 11 of those 23 were on the offensive end.
Yeah, they out-rebounded Georgia Tech in terms of their more offensive rebounds than they have total rebounds.
Loose ball, Hoyas have it back. Underneath, Jahidi White cannot knock it down. And the rebound cleared off by Juan Gaston. Marbury has to get some urgency now into that Georgia Tech offense.
I'll tell you, Tuomo really does a great job pressuring the basketball defensively for Georgetown.
Maddox, offensive foul, he hooked him.
And they got him with the hook. Jahidi White looks like he's an improved player this year. Hey, mention in St. Louis where he's from. I want to certainly say, get well to your dad. Frank Carpenter in the hospital over in St. Louis. I want to wish him a really healthy Thanksgiving. And it's my dad. Can I say happy birthday to my dad?
Well, he's right across the river. Why don't you?
83 years old. Hey, Pop, have a happy birthday.
A couple of guys that are 80 years young.
Wow.
Plus or minus a couple. Thank you, sir. That was very nice. Iverson baseline, and it'll go back to the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech.
You know, they're playing White together now with Othella Harrington. You talk about a lot of beef on the inside.
They try to transition. Matt Harpering could not reach it.
And this club at Georgetown, they're going to get better and better, too, once they get a little bit more experience in the backcourt. Remember, Page has only played 2 games. Iverson's only played 1 season. I mean, this is a young Georgetown backcourt. Then you throw in Tuomo. He's only a freshman.
That was the 18th turnover by Georgia Tech. Georgetown has forced 60 in 3 games.
When you think of Georgetown dominance, you usually think of size with Mourning and Mutombo and Ewing. It's a different dominance now in the Georgetown team. It's those perimeter players, Page and Iverson.
Eddie Elisma still has not scored tonight. Harrington has 6 points. He's on his way to a double-digit rebounding night.
We said during our first game that we did, Brad Nessler and I, that they really had to find a way to get Elisma and Maddox some scoring. Maddox looks like he has stepped up to provide some scoring, but Elisma's got to make himself a little bit more active offensively.
That was Page trying to force it in. Hoyas will keep it with 31 on the shot clock. 11:54 remaining.
ACC will be wide open this year. You'll have 7 clubs battling for that top spot. A lot of balance in the conference. Don't have really that heavyweight Mike Tyson knockout team, but really have a lot of clubs. And every night you're going to be like, wow, when you look at the scores.
A little jumper from the left side would go from Page. And they keep slamming those offensive boards.
They just keep getting up on that glass.
How about basketball next week? Let's start with the Razorbacks and the Spartans at 7 o'clock. The DirecTV Grade 8 on ESPN. And then #1 Kentucky and #7 UMass. Two teams who could go all the way. But that's not all. Wednesday night, it's Tim Duncan and Wake. Eddie Sutton's Cowboys stand in the way there. And then a great matchup. The Cavaliers of the ACC, the Jayhawks of the Big 8.
Well, the one thing the Cavaliers possess, tremendous backcourt play with Staples, a long-range shooter, and Harold Dean, a great handler. But do they have enough inside? Can they make up for the loss of Junior Burroughs, now playing with the Celtics?
Harrington with 7. That was the 4th foul on that play, by the way, for Eddie Olizma of Georgia Tech.
They go to that full court pressure. Look at Tuomo. I love the way. Look at his feet. Look at the way they move. I mean, look at him. He loves playing defense. And that's the way he'll get some PT, some playing time.
You better love to play D if you're going to play for John Thompson. Here's Berry wheeling through there, dumping it off to the wing. Gaston short. Harrington, long one. Iverson.
Hello! Yes, sir. Nice outlet by Harrington. A good Wes Unseld style outlet where he had it over his head, 2 hands. Great catch by Iverson.
Now you like those DC area guys, don't you?
Oh, they're athletic.
Underneath Marbury, and a nice finish by Matt Harpering.
Well, Marbury creates it for Harpering. Harpering takes it up and scores. Look at Tuomo. I'm really impressed with him. He's going to give them an excellent third guard coming off the bench.
Only a freshman. Lots of good playing time in this NIT. Victor Page with the dump down. Harpering gambling for the steal.
And they play with 3 guards when they play with Tuomo, Page, and Iverson together.
Dick will see the miss in the long pass.
That is the outlet. That's the Wes Unseld style outlet. 2 hands, and there's the great catch. And the great bounce off the floor. It's like a Spalding ball. A tremendous bounce.
You know, he didn't exactly flush that jam. He got a little iron with it.
Yeah, he got some iron.
Here's Berry. Oh, nice. Marbury, that's his first basket in the second half.
Nice look by Barry.
Iverson spins it.
I'll tell you one thing. He catches, he's a blur. He's quick, quicker, quicker. I mean, he's just so quick. You did a blink, he's gone. I mean, he is gone.
Halfway through the second half, it's a 15-point Hoya lead. Berry, nice look, and the good right side finish. That is Juan Gaston, and he's got 8 points in the reserve role tonight.
Yeah, Gaston's a kid that's going to be a positive force coming off the bench. Very productive for Georgia Tech.
Maddox is back up, about to check back in for Bobby Crimmins. Here's Jahidi White back it in. Oh, how do you stop 6'9", 270?
I'll tell you, the big fella's got soft hands, good drop step inside. John Thompson told me, he said, hey, I was a sweetheart last year, not this year with him.
Olizma tried to follow it. Harpering has it. Jahidi White fouls it. You know, one of the big stories in this game, probably the reason Georgia Tech has not been blown out, is the inspirational play of the injured Drew Berry. 9 points tonight, all of them in the second half, plus he set up 8 other baskets.
And you can see the pain all over his face. He reminds me right now of the pain that he's playing. Very similar to last year. We had a game with Neil Reed, the outstanding young guard for Indiana, who was playing with a shoulder injury. You could just see it on his face. And today you can see it on Barry's face. I want to say happy Thanksgiving before we get any further to all the beautiful people at our studio and the people across America. Well, enjoy that turkey. Have a great, great holiday. Alan goes to the sideline.
Yeah, and then join us Friday for the Tip-Off Classic and the NIT Championship game. Some holiday football coming your way tomorrow night with Baylor and Texas.
Got to determine those bowl bids now. It's getting really a tough time of the year. We start to separate people.
Here's Page. Berry checking in. He does a 360, but he travels. You know, I think Dan Bonner, in the first couple of rounds of the NIT here on ESPN, Dick, called it best about Victor Page. He called him a finisher. He usually finishes what he starts.
Yeah, there's no question. He is a finalizer. John Thompson talked about that on the phone. He said, let me tell you something, Dick. He said, I have another guy with Iverson. We're not a one-man fast break anymore. We got another guy that can complete the play in transition.
9 minutes to go and a 22nd timeout by John Thompson. Hey, how about Friday for some gridiron action? The Panthers of Pitt and the Mountaineers of West Virginia. In those parts, they call it the backyard brawl. And the Panthers hope to keep the Mountaineers out of the Miami-Syracuse race for second place in the Big East. That's turning into a pretty good football league now, too. And don't forget, tomorrow night, it's the Baylor Bears and the Longhorns of Texas as we bid adieu after all these years to the Southwest Conference. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night after you've stuffed yourself. (73-58) Georgetown.
Look at Tuomo. He's really very active defensively. He said, hey, I didn't get a lot of publicity and notoriety in high school, and I'm playing against Mr. Marbury. He said he was a superstar. I'm going to show him that I can play, too.
That's Tuomo with the check and his second foul.
From out of Cameroon, but played over in high school in North Carolina. Didn't play his senior year, had a knee injury.
Bobby Crimmins, 15th year. His boys don't go that deep, only about 7 of them.
Probably quite a tennis player. Oh, he gave me a beating like you couldn't believe it. His beautiful wife, Carol, she could play as well.
See, now you strike me as a baseliner, but he's one of those serve and volley guys.
You got a good idea. He doesn't so much serve and volley, but he's very active around the net. I mean, it was unbelievable. He was location here, location there, placement.
Iverson with his third foul as Bobby paces in the old hometown, a native of the Bronx, to the line. Gary Saunders, the freshman out of Rice High School here in New York City. They've gone to halftime now at the Great Alaska Shootout. And the Hawkeyes favored to win the Big Ten this year, lead by 11.
Well, you know, Iowa's got a real outstanding trio. You talk about Jess Sellos, you talk about Woolridge, and certainly Kingsbury, who can shoot the basketball. Dr. Tom should have a big, big year this year.
All of his seniors back.
Georgia Tech's getting a solid player next year as well. And a kid by the name of Babel, I mentioned his brother, by the way, is going over to Massachusetts, Mike. And John will be going over to Georgia Tech along with Pablo Machado. They love him from out of Venezuela. A 6'9" kid played at Tift High School in Georgia.
Pablo Machado. Well, I guess Venezuela doesn't just produce shortstops anymore. 13 points the Hoyas lead. 8-15. Harrington waits, scores, and a foul.
Great high-low play. What a great high-low entry right there by Jerome Williams. Little 4-5 interchange of two big players. We're going to take a look at it right here. We're going to watch them as we see right here. They're going to get some high-low play in this area here. Right in that area. Now we're going to watch them. There's the high-low. Now here comes Jerome Williams, and there's the dump down. And there's the catch by Harrington and the conversion. And the telestrator went bad on me. Give it a turnover.
You've been waiting all night to do some graffiti here in New York.
Give it a turnover.
By the way, he did make the free throw. Here goes Iverson.
Oh,
is it for Page? Oh, it almost went. There is no pair of players in the country who can guard these guys on the break.
I mean, they're so incredible on the break. But they got to build a new arena. The John Thompson Arena on campus. Pack it every night. Get away from a pro arena. I mean, they got to have their own college complex. If Dean has his, John has earned his. Hey, you can't tell me with all the cash and all their alumni. Put the money together, build a beautiful arena, hold about 12,000, sell it out every night, have it right in the campus area, have those Hoya kids going bananas.
Have you checked real estate prices in Georgetown lately?
Well, I'll donate a few dollars. I'll start it off.
You better start with a few million.
Few million.
Victor Page looking for his 20th point.
Victor Page is going to have many a 20-point night. John started off at Providence College, with someone gave him an opportunity to become a All-American with the Friars. And you know the one thing he's so proud of? Because someone giving him an opportunity. His one son graduated Princeton, another son graduated Georgetown, and his daughter graduated Brown.
Timeout on the floor. 7:59 to go. Drew Berry trying to hang in there. It's an 18-point game.
It's a big season in the NBA. More big-time slams and jams by the league's big men. Exclusive stories on Shaq, Michael, Patrick, Hakeem, and David. Who's bigger, badder, better, weirder? The hot stuff on teams, players, coaches, and who's got the jump on 96. It's the NBA preview that gives you the big picture as only ESPN can. In-depth, up-to-date. The ESPN Pro Basketball NBA Preview Magazine. It's big, and it's on newsstands now.
Something happens when you read the Wall Street Journal every business day. You start seeing opportunities where you never saw them before. See for yourself. Subscribe now to the Wall Street Journal. The Journal keeps you right at the heart of what's going on in business. Call now for the Journal and get your free guide to planning your financial future. Facts you need to start planning a secure future right now. Get 10 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just $38 and get the guide free.
Call now, 800-443-7400. That's 800-443-7400.
The college hoop season gets in full swing with Turkey Tourney Week, a full helping of the hottest early season tournaments. ESPN's going to take you round the country as the best teams in the land battle to see who'll get out of the gate fast and who's going to go hungry. Turkey Tourney Week coverage continues Friday with the Tip-Off Classic and the preseason NIT Championship, only on ESPN.
18 the spread here. It's the biggest lead we've seen tonight here in New York City, where we'll have the final on Friday night, 9:30 on ESPN. It's starting to look like the Cats and the Hoyas. And Dick, you'll be elsewhere and visiting with the Black Coaches Association, and congratulations on your honor that comes from them for this year.
Oh, well, thank you, Bob. I'm looking forward to it Friday night at the Martin Luther King banquet, the Black Coaches Association. It'll be a tremendous night. All the coaches will be there, Rick Majerus and Roy Williams. And I'm flattered and honored to receive one of their awards. Not that I deserve it. There's so many guys in our business who do so much for young people.
Well done, sir. And the governor will be here, Bill Raftery. We'll check his tan lines when he gets back from Maui.
Oh, I've been on a golf course. He and John Saunders get that every year.
Jerome Williams handling it for the Hoyas. Shot clock at 3. Harrington. And he was stuffed straight up by Michael Maddox.
Well, fella's lost about 15 pounds. He has a little bit more quickness, especially going to the boards.
Pretty gutsy play by Maddox, playing with 4 fouls right there.
That's going to be an interesting matchup with Arizona and Georgetown. I mean, the way it looks like right now, they're certainly in certain command here. And that'll be an interesting matchup because of the presence of the interior people that Arizona can put on the floor. Davis and Blair certainly can match up on the interior with Harrington and Williams.
Berry out on the wing. For Marbury. Threw it into traffic. Here come the Hoyas. They've got numbers. They had Iverson, but his pass was deflected, and Page will now pull it out for their half-court offense. At least what we know of it, we don't see it very often.
You know, another matchup will be interesting in that game is Reggie Geary defensively against Allen Iverson. I mean, you're talking about a great defensive stopper.
2 of them. Williams. How about the big fellas handling the ball there?
Excellent awareness where their teammates are on the floor, anticipating the open man, bringing the ball away from the strong side to the weak side. It's going to be a great year in the Big East this year. I mean, there's no doubt about it. With Villanova matchups, with Connecticut, and with Georgetown, they're going to be sensational. And don't underestimate Pittsburgh and Providence.
Well, how about Villanova? Later tonight, we'll check in with them way out west against Carolina. That's coming up right after we're done here. With Saunders and Raftery out at the Lahaina Civic Center on the island of Maui. 10 points for Jerome Williams tonight.
Just a solid player. I mean, when you got a guy like Williams who's your 4th option, if you'd classify certainly Iverson, Page, and Harrington as your 1, 2, 3 options, you got a heck of a basketball team because Jerome Williams is a solid player.
Boubacar Al with the rebound there. Page way out there. They are really hitting the glass. Harrington and a foul.
Georgetown flat out beating their backside on the glass. I mean, they are absolutely owning the glass, just dominating on the interior, showing that strength on the inside. Harrington, Williams, and then they had Jahidi White as well.
Eddie Elismo will foul out without scoring a point.
There's Victor Page now with the jump shot. Now look at Harrington making his presence known. He getting a wide body, clearing people away with the left hand, converts.
Eddie Elisma, no points, 1 rebound.
Look at this right here. Second chance points, 21-4. I mean, that's a pretty tough number to overcome if you're Georgia Tech. Leesma certainly had a great presence in the first 2 games defensively, blocking shots. But tonight, he's really not been a factor at all on the inside.
He had 7 blocks and tied a Tech record against Manhattan. Then he had a double-double against Oklahoma with 12 points and 11 boards. But tonight, virtually nothing.
And he's really one of the favorites down here. All the people love him chanting, Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. There's no chant of Eddie, Eddie here tonight.
The man out of LaSalle had a rude homecoming tonight. Iverson handling it, getting tripped.
And Iverson's won the matchup head-to-head with Marbury, even though Marbury's made has shown some flashes of brilliance. But in total of the total game, you'd have to give the edge to Iverson.
Got 2 shots, man.
See, right now, Eric, when you talk about Marbury, they got to forget all the talk about playing at the next level and let him just concentrate on being a collegiate. Let him concentrate on being a student and an athlete and enjoy his moment on the Ramblin' Rec campus, because really there are a lot of parts of his game he still has to work on.
That's 23 for Allen Iverson. And a 23-point lead for the Hoyas as we wind it down to 6 minutes remaining. Barry looking to create a shot. He did.
Looks like that ankle got a little better here in the second half.
11 points since halftime.
He's favored it a little bit, but not like he did in the first half. Got a performance. Got to give the kid an A+ for having the guts and heart to stay on that court.
Iverson and Marbury staring each other down here.
Iverson played in high school with Tony Rutland, who plays with the left hand hook. Oh! And that's George Mikan style. That's John Thompson style. Big John was a left-hander. Othello with the left-handed sweeping hook shot. A shot that doesn't exist in college anymore.
You know, he's got 12 of his 14 in the second half.
Oh, what a pass. Hello. Warm up the boss, Bobby C. Get him to the hotel. This baby's academic.
Hoyas by 25.
The route is on. Get out the turkey.
Saunders the miss, Maddox the follow. He has 18 tonight, but only 4 since halftime.
See, I would take out Barry now. He's still limping. There's no need to play him at this moment.
They do have another guard they use, Brian Brennan, a sophomore out of Archbishop Carroll in Philadelphia.
I'd give somebody else a little experience. Don't want to take a chance of an injury that can really hurt them for the entire year, because they're not a deep basketball team.
Hey, Dickie, walk us through this hook. We want to see this again.
Oh, there it is. They're going to enter the ball inside. Now look at him. He's going to take the sweeping hook shot. Usually you use that shot when you play horse. You know, you play horse, you find a guy that can't use it, H-O-R. I mean, he thinks he's Kareem. He thinks he's Mr. Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, but did Kareem shoot it from out that far?
I'll tell you, Kareem had a magical hook shot. And Kareem was the greatest offensive and defensive. If you talk the total post play, oh, Russell was a better defender, and Will Chamberlain was a better athlete. But if you talk about complete player on the inside, he was the best. Kareem Abdul. And there goes Iverson. He deserves a standing O.
He sits down with 23 points tonight.
He took a pounding in that first game against Colgate.
He adds 6 assists and 5 steals.
He and Victor Page are going to make a lot of beautiful music together.
22 for Victor, so they've got 45 between them.
They're going to have hits galore. They're going to be like Hootie and the Blowfish with all kinds of hits.
Here's Barry. Harpring trying to get the offensive rebound. It'll go back to the Hoyas.
Harpring's had a tough night tonight. He certainly hustled and scrapped. There's a look at Allen Iverson on that sideline.
Laurie Michael, the Georgetown trainer, having a look. Boubacar out. That's for Jerome Williams. Now he'll drive. And he'll commit an offensive foul, his fourth.
Yeah, offensive foul. He stepped in on a baseline, ran into the defensive player. Jerome really out of high school committed verbally to American University, but then went to junior college. Didn't play his second year in junior college, and ultimately said, hey, I want to be a Hoyer.
There's a timeout. 4:06 remaining, and it's the Hoyas on their way to the title game by 24.
How do you wake up a 200-pound gorilla? Very carefully. He awakes irritable, he moves slowly, stooped in posture, and his ferocious appearance wards off lesser creatures. But while grooming, the invigorating scent of coast revives the beast. He luxuriates in the abundant lather, so that finally, he's alert.
Animal.
And eager to face the jungle out there. Coast, the eye-opener.
With 4 doors, tons of interior space, comfortably contoured seating, and a great stereo, the Plymouth Neon sedan is a huge kick for cruising. While the Plymouth Neon Espresso Coupe's 132 horsepower engine and fully independent suspension make it a real kick in the passing lane. Plymouth Neon Coupe or sedan, it's never middle of the road. $99.95 for starters, $12.7 nicely equipped.
Dad?
Yeah?
There's something I want to tell you.
What is it, son?
Well, Dad, you're my dad. And I love you, man.
You're not getting my Bud Light, Johnny.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Ray, forget it, Johnny.
Big East Player of the Year, Kerry Kittles, had 23 points to lead Villanova past Santa Clara and into the Maui Invitational Championship game. Jeff McInnes, 21, helped get North Carolina there. It's coming up next.
That's John Saunders. He'll be with Bill Raftery out there in Maui, and we'll send it that way when this one is over. Bob Carpenter and Dick Vitale at Madison Square Garden. And the Hoyas are on cruise control in the final 4 minutes.
The Big East really has struggled here in the NIT preseason. When you look over the years, the last time a team won it was 1988. That was when Syracuse won this tournament.
Barberry couldn't finish when he started. Iverson up with a loose ball.
89, St. John's lost in the finals. 90, Boston College, second round. Pittsburgh in 91, semis. Seton Hall in 92 lost in the finals. 93, St. John's first round. And 94, Syracuse in the first round. Lost to George Washington last year at home. Played it at Manly.
Page looking for penetration. Runs out of room. And then it was a turnover when he got the ball back before coming down.
Now he's pleading with Teddy Valentine. He's trying to make like a lawyer. He wants to be a politician. He says, hey, I'm in Washington. I'm a politician. I'm learning.
Hey, Othello Harrington was an intern on Capitol Hill this past summer. He ought to talk to him. He worked for Congressman Bliley of Virginia. Did the big fella.
You know, the appeals court overturned the conviction on Allen Iverson, and they gave him a clean slate, talked about earlier.
There's Williams leaving it. Page. Oh, Williams gets it back, and Harpring ends up on his back. That'll be the first foul on Matt Harpring. Let's check the brackets again as we're winding down to the championship game of the NIT. 9:30 on ESPN. Friday night, Arizona wins it earlier tonight, beating Michigan 86-79. And how about Lute Olson's assistant? Jim Rossborough's been scouting Georgetown in this game, Dick. He's been looking a little somber since the second half got underway.
Yeah, look at him writing right there. He's writing down Iverson, very quick, explosive to the goal. He's writing down Jerome Williams can rebound. He's writing down they're blowing people out. I mean, they're just blitzing people. Look at him writing. Look, I got a kick out of these scouting charts and all the notes. Got to be prepared. Got to be ready. He was a former head coach at one time as well.
And Jim's in his 7th year with Luke.
Got a lot of experience on that sideline when Olson hooks up against Mr. Thompson.
Well, something like 35, maybe close to 40 years combined.
Little coaching know-how.
Marbury high off the glass, and Stepan has only his second field goal of the second half. 13 points on the night for the freshman out of Brooklyn.
Excellent stutter step right there to get him free in an isolation on a one-on-one maneuver.
2.5 minutes to go.
Just didn't have enough inside on that baseline to neutralize Georgetown on the glass.
Iverson running into traffic. Harpring leads a 3-on-1. Page the only man back. Nothing he could do. Nice assist from Marbury.
Referee's timeout.
Iverson shaken up.
Bob Donato all the time. Iverson going to go to the sideline.
Oh, that's the worst thing that could happen to Georgetown, up by 21 with the championship game looming.
In today's day, though, a game is never really out of doubt, you know, in terms of that three-point shot, explosiveness of clubs, and coaches get a little scared. They're afraid to go to their bench. They're afraid to substitute.
You know, Dick, now you've got the 22nd timeout that you can save till the end if you're coming from behind. That can help as well. Here's Page.
He said, don't worry a thing, Allen. Don't worry about anything. I'm going to just take over a little dribble penetration. I'll get into the lane. I'll take the high percentage shot. So you sit down and you rest, Allen. You've been ready for Friday night.
Page and Iverson have combined for 47 points tonight. That was Harpring. 16 for him tonight with that three. Othella Harrington the miss. He got it back.
He's got some nice numbers rebounding tonight, Othella.
13 of them. 1:10 remaining before Georgetown starts thinking about Arizona. Harpring with the foul. It'll be his second. Icing that left thumb of Allen Iverson.
Look at his left leg. Look at his shaking. Look at the left leg. You can see he's in quite a bit of pain right there. Look at the left leg.
He had 23, 6 assists, 5 steals, 8 turnovers tonight.
Jerome Williams comes over, trying to check and see what his teammates feeling.
His buddy at guard, John Thompson's freshman, Victor Page, to the line.
Those are the kind of sights you really don't like to see in college athletics.
Georgia Tech starts moving some people into the game. That's Brian Brennan, who we mentioned earlier. He's from Philadelphia. He'll be having some fun playing at the Garden. And out of Archbishop Malloy over in Flushing is Ryan Murphy, a sophomore guard who checks in.
Archbishop Malloy has produced so many outstanding players. Kenny Anderson fame.
Yeah, that rings a bell for folks in Atlanta. That's 25 for Victor Page.
Kenny Anderson was a much better scorer than Stephon Marbury. Marbury on a collegiate level might be a little better in comparing him with Kenny when Kenny was a collegiate freshman. A little better in terms of his ability to play under control, get the ball to people. Kenny Anderson was a dynamic finisher and scorer. Looks like he makes contact right there with Harpring.
Gary Saunders to the line. Bucky Hodges checked in for Georgia Tech, a sophomore out of Florida.
Hey, don't get me wrong. Kenny Anderson was phenomenal. I mean, I don't want people to think I didn't think he was phenomenal. He played with a little better cast, though, too. When they went to the Final Four in '90, he was surrounded with guys like Malcolm Mackey, Dennis Scott, also Brian Oliver. All those guys got at least a cup of coffee in the NBA. Dennis Scott now doing a great job with the Magic, who will win it without Shaq. Take it to the rack. Shaquille. Penny Hardaway. Wow.
Final 50 seconds. There's 2-0 move. He'll gun one from downtown.
And he out-hustles him for the basketball.
Yeah, that was Ryan Murphy after it. And up with the steal was Gary Saunders. By the way, John Saunders and Bill Raftery on the way. As soon as this one's over, we are going to take you out to the islands Sort of a different Thanksgiving feel out there than New York City.
I can't wait to run to the hotel and turn it on. I want to see John and Billy call this. Kerry Kittles against Calabria. I mean, are you kidding? McGinnis? I mean, it'll be exciting. North Carolina, Michelangelo. Still wheeling that magic. Everybody said, wow, they're playing without Stackhouse. So Wallace, they left early. They're going to get hurt. So what do? They get to the final here against Villanova, number 3 in America in some of the polls.
That was John Kelly who got a chance to shoot a free throw for Georgia Tech. Bucky Hodge on the miss.
You got to cheer for these guys right now. Guys like Kelly and certainly Brennan, and guys like, talk about Bucky Hodge. They don't get many minutes. They practice. They give everything they have. You got to root for them to get a deuce. Get in the scoreboard. Get in there. Get in there. Oh, it's got to go down, Bobby.
Brian Brennan couldn't knock it down. Jackson, right side. Tuomu is underneath. Final 10 seconds.
Oh, look at Jahadi. Look at Jahadi. He says, hey, look at me. I'm from St. Louis. Look at my power. Look at my strength.
Saunders underneath, and it'll be a very decisive 22-point win for Georgetown, Dick. They were up by 8 at the half and win it by 22.
They just dominated in every phase. On the glass, great speed by Allen Iverson. Page is scoring. It's been Georgetown all night.
And there it is, Friday night, 9:30 from the Garden, Arizona and Georgetown. Mike Tirico, 4 hours of great basketball. And now it's the Wildcats and the Hoyas coming up in 48 hours.